In Turin, a city known for the noise of its factories and the hustle and bustle of industrial life, a psychiatric clinic is located on a quiet side street, a place where the outside noise seems to melt into a heavy silence. Inside the clinic, a group of friends gather in a small room around a circular table, each with a broken story in their eyes. Marco, a brilliant electrical engineer, was the first to speak. He worked in a large factory where wires and cables intertwined as complex symbols of his personal life. Despite his skill in deciphering machine codes, he was unable to decipher his relationship with his wife. He spent his days at work, his mind preoccupied with projects, oblivious to his wife, who began to feel like she was just a decoration in his life. The lack of communication between them widened the gap until it became like the tangled strands of wires he faced every day. Next to him sat Lucia, a graphic designer who always mixed colors elegantly, but her family life was not as colorful as her paintings. She had a complicated relationship with her demanding father, who saw nothing but flaws and shortcomings in her achievements. Every time Lucia tried to communicate with him, she would run into a wall of indifference. She felt herself slipping away from her family, the colors of her designs fading with time. Andrea, a young man in his 30s who works as a mechanic in a car factory, gripped the handle of his chair as if trying to control his life that was moving at different speeds. He had spent years trying to build his career, but at the expense of his relationship with his fiancée, who was always waiting for him in the background. "I'm busy," was his constant reply. His problem was that he thought work would solve everything, but as time passed, he realized that the important things were slipping away from his grasp like grains of sand. In the corner of the room sat Francesca, a mother of 2 and a teacher at a local school. She loved her work with children, but her relationship with her husband was slowly crumbling. The lack of dialogue between them had become like an invisible wall, each living in his own world. All she longed for were simple moments of tenderness and understanding, but she found herself stuck in a whirlpool of routine and household duties. The psychiatrist, Dr. Vittorio, listened silently to their conversations, occasionally taking small notes. The session revolved around one idea: how the lack of real communication and care led to the collapse of these relationships. Turin, this bustling city, made them successful people in their professional lives, but it took away something deeper from them: their ability to communicate with their loved ones. The clinic itself was simple, its walls painted in a calm, beige color, and the dim lighting gave a feeling of comfort, as if it was trying to contain all these tired souls. Outside, the Turin sky was overcast, as if reflecting the psychological state of these people. Everyone talked about their desire for change, about their need to rebuild the bridges that had collapsed due to neglect and disregard. At the end of the session, there was a glimmer of hope. They realized that the problem was not the lack of love, but the lack of communication. And at that moment, each of them promised to take the first step towards repairing their relationships. Industrial Turin may not have been the ideal city for love and affection, but it certainly taught them that true success begins from within, from their hearts and their relationships.